Greetings, Horizon Esports followers, and welcome to another Mad Bag Gamer production. This is going to be a Starcraft 1 vs 1 on Korhal Compound. A Zerg versus Terran. This is going to be a first-person video, meaning you will see all of the actions that I perform as a Zerg player. Note that I am commentating this after having played and recorded the original match, so my commentary may obviously indicate things like past tense actions. I may refer to things that I had done in the past. Don't get confused, that's just because I already played this game and I'm talking about it later. So, a Terran versus Zerg on Korhal Compound. This is a Platinum level game, and I want to say that Platinum pretty closely emulates the pros. Obviously, our mechanics aren't going to be on point, some of our tactics may be a little whack, and some of the things we do just in general, unit compositions, the technology we go to and when we go to it, they'll be slightly off, but they should fairly closely represent some of the best stuff, or I should say some of the stuff the best players in the world are doing. Also note that I main Protoss. I play Diamond with Protoss on a second account. This account, Highest Templar, I either random, I race pick Terran, or I race pick Zerg. I used to say that Zerg was my weakest race, but as of the Queen buff, the range to their melee attack is now I think it's a 4.5, it might be even a 5 range. I kind of feel about even with Terran and Zerg. So we will see a Platinum player that's probably about my level of Terran get to play against my Platinum Zerg. You see, I am going for a 15 hatch. I have the 15 drones. I have not started my pool. There, the hatch is down. I now have 2 hatcheries, at least one and one on the way. I will follow this up likely with a 15 pool. This is a 1 vs 1 map. If this were a 4-player map and he had to kind of guess where I was, something like Tal'Darim Altar, I may be greedy and go up to 16 or 17 drones even before putting my pool down. Oh, and it looks like I am going to go up to, is that 16? I'm sorry, I'm watching kind of a low quality view of it right now. Can't quite make out the food count. No, that was 15 because I noticed it jump back down to 14. So I'm not going to do a greedy pool. If I were feeling unsafe, I might even do something like put the hatch down at 15 and then not build another drone and put the pool down at 14. But it looks like I did sneak a little drone in there. And now I'm sneaking more drones out and an overlord so that when this pool pops, I will have the food to make other things happen. Make queens, make zerglings. I'm getting the gas about halfway through my pool. This indicates one of two things. It indicates that I want to go straight into roaches, or it indicates that I'm going to get zergling speed just a little bit later than normal. Sometimes with this build, again, going back to if I were on a map like Tal'Darim Altar, you might see me wait till like 16 or 17, and then put a gas down, and then go back up to 17, and then put a pool down. And that would indicate that I want speed immediately, and that I feel totally safe. I don't feel like he's doing any pressure at all. This, though, is kind of a middle of the road. I don't necessarily feel threatened, but I don't want to be super greedy. I am also going to use an Overlord at his natural to try to spot his natural timing, and I'm going to keep him on the very edge of that high ground to see if I can spot his Marines moving out. And I actually do see a Marine sitting at the front, though he's not being aggressive with it, which is good news. Now, seeing only 1 Marine and now seeing only 2 Marines, and now actually 3, kind of indicates something possibly counter. Seeing only 1 or 2 Marines might indicate that he's going for a Reactor Hellion opening, in which case, even with the Queen buff, you probably still want a Spine Crawler at the front. I've seen pro players getting away without having that Spine Crawler, just using their Queens. I don't like to risk it. I'm not that good with Zerg. I'm not so good that I know the exact timings and know exactly what to be worried about. So, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to put down the Spine Crawler at my front. And I'm seeing a little blue dot on my mini-map. This might be a scouting SCV. It doesn't look like it's moving at the speed of a Hellion. And I saw a couple Marines coming towards me as well. So I'm getting a Baneling nest. If he does anything cheesy like 3 or 4 racks all in, or if he does, a fast expand and follows it up with 4 racks and does an all-Marine push, a lot of times you'll want that Baneling nest way before anything else goes down. I'm going to use my Queen's range a little bit to pick at his Marines, make him a little bit nervous. He's going to walk right past my Spine Crawler, so I'm going to have to be kind of careful. And notice I did bring the Queen down from my main as well. With the Queens, I can fend this off, but I don't want to get too overzealous. I definitely don't want to fight him off of my creep. for the most part, I just want to stay alive right here, and I just want to build drones, and that's what you see me queue a lot of. I just queued probably a good 6 drones, and I got right back up to my Overlord cap, and now I'm going to be doing some more drones. Flash that drone button. If possible, if I can spot that he's gone to a second base anytime soon, then I want to go up to a third base myself. My link speed just finished, so I'm thinking I can probably catch these couple Marines, ensure that he doesn't get those back. Anytime you can keep your enemy from retaining forces, you should definitely do that. If your enemy pushes out on the map, determines that he doesn't have enough to do pressure and starts walking back, if you can reinforce to get enough to stomp that army that's walking back across the map, you should definitely do so. Here I'm going up to lair. The lair's not necessarily early, but I would say it's a little bit early, but it's not like, you know, oh my god, I'm rushing tech early. And I am saturating the rest of my gases. I see that he does have the wall. That's a pretty good indication of the expansion. I would probably like to move my Overlord in just a little bit, just to see the command center. A lot of times Terrans will be tricky, and then they'll do like a 1-base push right around the 9.5 minute mark, just because, you know, that's a good timing to catch me right before any of my lair tech's out. And there you see the lair tech of choice. I've put down the infestation pit. I'm also going double evolution chamber, meaning that I'm going to be getting a lot of upgrades. So this indicates Zergling Infestor. I'm getting some Banelings to stay safe as well. Generally with the Zergling Infestor composition, Zerglings are the meat of your army, and that's very dangerous because Zerglings are not meaty. They're very weak. Ooh, clever supply depot block. Zerglings are not meaty, so if you're gonna do a Zergling Infestor composition, you want heavy upgrades. And I actually got one Evo a little early and started an upgrade, and then got the second. Ooh, and here comes a push. What good timing I had on morphing in those Banelings. Now if I could just get some Zerglings to back it up. I do have 2 Spine Crawlers. Of course, he could murk those really easily with those Marines, but he can't sit still and attack them if I have Banelings. I don't want to just waste my Banelings, though, so getting him to stem was awesome. That allows me to kind of just bide my time. He doesn't have medevacs out yet. At least I haven't seen that he has them out. He definitely doesn't have them out with this push on this side of the map. So he can't repair, he can't heal all the damage he just took from stemming. That macro hatch could have been a little bit earlier, but like I said, I'm a platinum Zerg, so that's about the time I normally fail and put it out. He does hunt down the drone designated to make my third. I did use the drone to kill his SCV so that supply depot doesn't finish, and now with his forces that far out of position, I'm going to use this timing to run over there and kill the supply depot. That way when I do crush this push, I can go ahead and do the expansion. And now I have quite a few Zerglings and Banelings up. This push caught me at a kind of weird timing. I didn't really want to rely on just catching the timing on my Infestors. I figured they might be just a little bit too late. So I invested heavy in the Zerglings and the Banelings just to stay safe against this timing. However, that means that my Infestors are going to be a little bit delayed. You do see my Pathogen Glands upgrade finishing, and I'm not perfectly timed on getting Infestors out with that. But that's okay, that means that I'll be able to fall back on Infestors, and I have enough of an army of Zerglings and Banelings that I feel kind of safe. And there my Pathogen Glands did finish. I'm pretty sure that those are Infestors that I queued. We'll see here in a moment when they pop out. My Zergling melee attacks just finished, so hopefully I will be starting a second melee attack and then a second armor to directly follow it up. And then I will be fielding the goodness of Infestors and Zerglings. I am already getting Burrow as well. If you're going the Infestor tech, having Burrow allows you to, yeah, there you see it cooking, allows you to not only use Infestors in direct engagements with your army, but it allows you to harass with them as well. You can burrow. They're technically an invisible unit when they're burrowed, so you can sneak them past your enemy's defenses and then use the Infested Terrans. Infested Terrans are a great harassment. Unlike Dark Templar and Banshees, it is very easy to get enough Infested Terrans to totally take out command structures, to deny a command center, a nexus, or an enemy hatchery. Whereas with Banshees, it takes a long time for even like 3 Banshees to take down a command center, nexus, or hatchery. And with Dark Templar, you see Dark Templar take hatcheries out pretty frequently, but that's just because a lot of times Zerg are in positions where they can't get detection over there. You don't see Dark Templar take out a command center or a nexus very often, although it does happen, especially down here in the Platinum and/or Diamond Leagues. However, the Infested Terran really has that potential, just straight up awesome potential to do crazy damage. Now, it looks like I'm staging. I've got all my forces at the front. I've put Spine Crawlers up in my main, to defend any potential drop, any kind of counterattack he attempts right here. And it looks like I have quite a few Banelings. I've got a lot of Zerglings in the mix. It looks like I want to be aggressive, and there I spot the medevac moving out. That is clearly a drop, and he's going to come by and spot my push. Oh, and here you even see me be a little bit more safe. Me put down more spine crawlers in the main. It looks like I am thoroughly concerned at the potential of him dropping me and doing damage to my main. Oh, and more Banelings. He has a wall, but it is a very weak wall. It is comprised only of supply depots. Supply depots, I believe, have 350 life. Banelings do 80 damage a pop to a supply depot. So some quick math says 4, is that right? No, 5. I think it takes 5 Banelings to bust a supply depot. Good thing about that, though, is their AoE allows you to bust 2, maybe even 3 supply depots at the same time. Here's drop comes in my main. He put it in a really good position. I expected him to go around to the back of my mineral line. Instead, he's hitting the kind of the front of my main, kind of the meat. And he's also hitting my 4th. The 4th is kind of inconsequential. I'm not really going to waste resources trying to fight that because I don't have anything there yet. It's just a hatchery. My reinforcements are going to defend my main, and unfortunately my 4th is going to fall. I'm going to soak some of his attention with a few infested Terrans, and we're going all in here. Oh yeah! Banelings and Zerglings right in his face. It looks like I got through the wall easy enough. He's got a nice little blockage here, keeping my Zerglings from really getting to him. But he's got some key groups of units that are working great with my fungals. And it looks like my upgrades with my Zerglings are making them just meaty enough to stay in the mix. And for the most part, he's defended my attack, but I'm going to get a little bit more damage on him. I have stunted his 2 base, and I've got a Zergling patrolling on his 3rd to ensure that he doesn't go up to a 3rd base. Taking a little time out to make sure my macro is all good. And it looks like he wants to do some more with a drop. Oh, I'm actually still in the base. Wow. Just a couple Zerglings left, but still. That took him a while to clean up. And we'll take a look at the replay after I finish this game to kind of see some of the numbers, to see how many workers I took out there. Oh, and a drop on my 3rd. This drop could do a lot of damage. I don't have anything in position. I've got a spine crawler in a very poor position. I'm going to get most of my drones out. That is not enough Zerglings, even with decent upgrades. He's got too good a position, and he has a medevac in the mix. I'm going to have to allow him to just deny this 3rd. That sucks a little bit, but ultimately it's okay because he doesn't have a 3rd either. I'm denying his 3rd altogether, so him just kind of keeping my 3rd from doing as much as it could. Not as damaging as me making sure he doesn't even have a 3rd. He did snipe in my main, my infestation pit, and in the game I didn't catch this immediately. I remember being a little dumbfounded later when I tried to build some infestors. And you can see that his drops are taking a toll on me, not necessarily in exactly what he's sniped, but just in multitasking my attention beyond being able to macro. My money is in a ridiculous position. There is no way I should be sitting on this much cash right now. That's something about any composition using Zerglings. It is very larva heavy. Zerglings are larva expensive. They're very cheap on minerals and of course don't cost any gas, but they cost so much larva. To spend your minerals, 1 larva only spends 50 minerals, whereas, you know, with anything else, with like say a roach, 1 larva spends 75 minerals and 25 gas. You spend your money a lot faster with roach-based compositions than you do with Zergling-based. I should have probably a couple macro hatches. I've got just the 1, and my larva injects aren't as good as they could be. They're not bad though. I've got enough that pretty much every time an engagement's occurring, I have what I need to deal with it, and I have enough to be aggressive, which you see occurring right here again. I could really use more larva to spend this money better. If I could have all this money turned into Zerglings, I'd probably be able to smash him right now. And you see some smashery occurring even, so I'm close to the amount of larva I need, but just not quite there. He denies my 4th yet again. That's still okay. I still have ensured that he did not take a 3rd, and I've been able to crush his wall a 2nd time. Now, with Zerg, against any race really, mostly Terran, but against Protoss and Zerg just as much, when you get in engagements and trade, a lot of times, even if it's kind of an even engagement, I would say that the Zerg come out on top of that, especially when it's you being aggressive towards them. If you're in an engagement and you lose heavily, sometimes you can still take enough of a macro advantage for the engagement to be worth it. If you're in an engagement and you win heavily, it's pretty much good game. Zerg win games very quickly when they're winning engagements. When you're breaking even on engagements, you're very slowly getting an advantage. You're keeping his attention, you're keeping his momentum both on lock. That was horrible. He's doing a very big drop in my main, and I respond by trying to divide some of his attention by putting some infested Terrans in his main, but I put him in a bad spot, and he has a lot of forces in my main. That is 3 medevacs worth of infantry, and he's trying to expand to his third. I should have probably pulled all of these Zerglings and Banelings back to protect myself, but they were so far across the map, I figured, let me just try the counterattack. I've seen a lot of professional Zerg players doing really well by counterattacking, and I'm kind of trying that style out myself, especially using a Zergling heavy composition. Counterattack, since your Zerglings are so quick, he can be in your base and start doing damage already, and you can be only halfway across the map and still get there and do damage fast enough that it's worth it. And you see me totally deny his natural. Now, this is kind of bad because he's totally denied my third and is wailing away on my main. Holy crap, is he doing damage to my main. And now I'm losing my main pack of Zerglings. It's very small. So, I've got some catching up to do. I have some tech to put back out. I did get my infestation pit, but now I don't have a spawning pool. I've also lost 2 of my hatcheries. I am down to literally 1 hatchery upon which I can larva inject and use to produce Zerglings. And this is a point in time where it really hurts to have Zerglings. My production has been crippled. It'd be the equivalent of me taking out maybe 3/4 of his barracks, you know, when he's using mostly Marines in his composition. I did get into his main, and I'm doing some absolutely disgusting infested Terran harass in his main, which is really going to hurt him. It's really going to put him in a bad way. It actually looks like he's cleaning a lot of it up well, but I'm totally crushing his momentum. He doesn't have an army that he's a standing army that he's able to continue to build. However, I'm in a similar situation. Luckily, my bad macro is paying me tribute now. I have a bank. I have a huge bank. Not being able to spend my minerals earlier means that not having income right now doesn't hurt nearly as bad as it could. It could be really devastating. If I didn't have production or income, then I would really be in trouble because I wouldn't be able to do something like spam down 2 or 3 hatcheries and get the production back. However, I am able to expand a couple times because of that bank, and I should be able to use this to catch up very quickly on my production. It looks like he is floating his main to his third because he is that desperate on minerals. That's smart, but that is an awesome sign of where he is financially, where the state that he's in, that his economy is in. It shows that even though he has decent production, he still has most of his main. He probably can't use it because he hasn't been mining. I took his natural out a number of minutes ago now, and now I'm denying the third yet again. So, we're looking at a situation where I can't produce much more army, even though I have the money, and he could produce it, but doesn't have the money to do so. So we're getting towards kind of a standoff in army versus army. We're kind of in a situation where it's what I got versus what he's got. And I am quickly getting the production back up. Like I said, I spammed those hatcheries down, so before long I'll have decent production again, and I'll probably go through that bank very quickly. However, if I'm able to go through that bank, it will likely give me all the advantage I need to deal with the army he has on the map, the standing army. And it looks like he is going to try to keep that from happening. He's going to try to hit before I'm able to do that. So let's see how the showdown goes. I am not on 3-3. I was in line to move to 3-3, but didn't make it before he sniped my hive. I believe he is on 3-3. I'll check in the replay here in a second when we get to it. If I remember correctly, though, he got 3-3 kind of early, and he's got some very nasty infantry doing damage to me here. I'm going to attempt to use my drones. This is kind of a bad idea, especially since he's on 3-3 infantry, but I really don't have an army to speak of. I sent my Zerglings in before my Banelings were finished, so I kind of screwed myself there, and now I'm using whatever I can to deal with this final bit of forces from him. At least I think it's the final. I don't have a good bead on his third anymore, and he could have his natural back up and be getting some minerals off of that. Luckily, I do have some production going. I'm trying to get queens at each of my additional hatcheries so that I can have even better production. And I have a bit of a standing army. With the banelings, I think I've got just enough to keep him from being too aggressive right now. Although he is, again, going to deny that third. And it looks like he's moving to put some pressure on my, I don't know, would I call this my now third? Maybe my fourth and my fifth? I don't know, maybe my fifth and my sixth, because I had a fourth earlier and it got denied a bunch. I've had infestors in his base for quite a while, and I'm a little bit torn on this. I was able to keep him from really getting any kind of momentum up and reestablishing himself with the infestors in his base. I was able to also draw his attention away repeatedly, but I think that might have been better. I had like 8 infestors in his base. I think that might have been better served if that were with my army. Oh, yes! That hit was beautiful. That is exactly what I needed. He was attempting to load up to get away from my banelings. Unfortunately, he loaded into his medevacs, and his medevacs were on the side of his marines that the banelings were also on. So as they ran towards the medevacs, they ran towards banelings. And that was devastating considering what he has left on the map. And I don't know why I like this high ground up here so much. That is not a good place to try to harass. That is just silliness. I just keep returning there, wasting my actions on doing essentially nothing to him. It's utter silliness. And just by the size of that drop and what he was attempting to do with it, yeah, I think he's getting fairly desperate. And there you have the end of a 38-minute game. We're not going to worry about hiding that timer. And we are going to speed through many stages of this. I will probably focus on him a good bit throughout this replay, as you guys saw pretty much every single action I took. So that won't be so interesting. I kind of like the position of this barracks. He positioned it knowing that he was going to put that reactor on, and so made it to where he didn't have to lift it off. Could be dangerous if I was doing something cheesy, but as you guys saw, it turned out A-okay. Looks like he did a very fast command center off one racks, followed up directly with another barracks. I expect probably a couple more barracks, although he may go straight to a tech route. His money's getting kind of high. We'll probably see what he slaps out next here in just a second. Ah, stim! Very quick stim. And plenty of marines. Landing is natural. And I'm still curious about this tech. He's going to go straight to a factory, I assume. He's spending a lot of money on those marines, and he spent a lot of money on this wall too. You see how far ahead his supply is. He actually built too many of those just so that he could have it. Ah, and here we go. This is why he ends up getting upgrades very quickly. Off 2 racks, he expands and takes 2 engineering bays. All very interesting. That is very greedy as a Terran player. And going with the third. I didn't even spot that. He gets a 3rd command center still off 2 racks, then the factory, and goes up to 4. Interesting. Looks like he's got stim and he's now getting combat shield. Alright, now here we're coming up to some of the kind of interesting parts. So, holy crap. I felt really comfortable with every bit of pressure that he was sending my way, and you can tell in my drone count. 50, oh my god, I'm going up to 60. What's that production tab say? I'm just now getting the infestors out. I am on 58 drones, taking the 3rd and the 4th before I see his 3rd out. The 3rd is normal. I would take his 3rd as I see him get his natural. The 4th, though, this is just me saying, hey, I'm going to macro like mad with Zerglings. And he does have the 3rd command center, so I guess it's well placed. But holy crap, that drone count, even with 3 command centers. As a matter of fact, let's see it. He just dropped a couple mules. I guess I am still on 2 base, so he's going to be almost saturated on 2 base plus mules. So that's going to put him ahead of me, of course. Mules, what? Did I seriously think that I could have an economy that compares with mules? No, Zerg doesn't have any kind of economy ever on any number of bases that can ever compare with mules. Even being ahead 20-ish drones. He's catching me very quickly on the worker count though, so that's very quickly leveling out. Oh, but having that drone count so early has allowed me to really dump into my army. And I've got a lot of money right now that I don't have spent in my army. So, we're getting to the first push. He's doing this drop. Right now it's 1-to-1 workers killed. I guess we've each killed a scouting worker. And, The armies aren't terribly far off. With these infestors and with all the banelings I have, my gas count is quite a bit higher than his. Our minerals are very close, though, especially considering that he's defensive, so this bunker and some of these walls, I would say, kind of count towards his army, because in this engagement I have to break through them. Oh, and I didn't notice that he took that queen out. Taking that queen out is probably actually quite a big hit to my production. Probably one of the reasons that my money skyrockets right here. And holy army dumb. The army goes flooding down for both of us. It looks like I lost. Yeah, I guess I didn't really lose more. I was gonna say that my army took a bigger hit, but yeah. Oh, and we see it here, down to 25. I have killed 40. Oh my God! I had no idea it was that hefty. I killed 40 SCVs right there. That is enormous. The army count took a hit, but oh my God, did I wipe out his workers. So now, even with the mules, and even with me not on my third, I am still, I'm not way ahead, and actually with him getting the mules down, he pulls back ahead again. Of course he does. Only makes sense for the Terran to be drastically ahead of me on economy at all points in time, no matter what happens in the game. Oh, and here's where he starts getting really aggressive with the drops. These drops surprised me with the amount of forces he was putting in drops, how often he was showing up at different parts of my base with drops. I just really didn't expect that. And these spines, they were placed to defend a drop coming in this area towards my mineral line, but he ended up dropping a lot right up in here and coming right into the guts of my base, if you will, which did a lot of damage to me. So he's at 39. I've still just got that 40 worker kill count. I don't think this hit kills many workers, if any at all. A matter of fact, it killed another 5, so that's not huge. I killed mostly army there. Again, with Zerg, it's good to trade down. A lot of times you're ahead of your enemy in supply, and if you can use that supply advantage to just break even, then you make more room for yourself to do it again. You make it to where you have to invest less comparatively into your... Oh my God, that's huge. That's such a huge drop. And right now he's got 3-3. He's already sitting on 3-3. I had the hive coming up so I could go to 3-3, but I never make it because this drop is just so big and powerful. Now, with him being spread out, he does lose a lot of infantry to the broodlings of my various structures as they blow up and go down. But he gets everything that he needs to get done. And you guys saw this because this is what I was focusing on mostly when I was in the match. Oh my God, they could be doing so much more right now. There they go moving in, but that was late. Having like another 3 of those here, I might not have lost that hive, and this would have been a drastically different game. As is, now is where we begin descending into the madness. So I have almost absolutely wiped his workers out. From this point on, he is just in a very rough spot economically. But I'm in a rough spot with my production. I am starting to get 3-3 now. I think I do actually end up finishing it. I guess I got that started right before my hive went down. That is awesome, actually. I end up finishing it, but not before some of the soon-to-come shenaniganery goes down. There's where his main's lifting. At this point, I've killed the 3rd that he had and the natural, and this is damaged. I think I end up getting this. Let's go ahead and boost a little bit, because although there are a lot of kind of cool engagements, there's not a lot... Oh! There's not a lot of real meaningful stuff that goes on, just various trades. Nope, he's got an SCV on it. I was going to say I thought at some point I killed that while it was floating, but I suppose I didn't. He is not being the most careful about preparing it. Denying my 3rd again! Oh, it hurts so bad. My 3rd crippled. My drone's doing a little ring around the rosy with his forces. Oh, I love that. 6 slings, totally shut down your economy. Doing a little bit of harassment in the main still. He is only on 4 racks, so I guess the whole time I was saying good things about his production. It wasn't amazing. It was notable though, notably better than mine. And there's the killing blow. Nice. Way to end it. So, thanks for watching, guys. I know it's been a while since I put a video on the esports channel, the Horizon esports channel. And I would like to say that I'm going to give them one every weekend, but obviously that's not quite going to be the case. I have had some rendering problems lately. I've had some CPU heat issues, and I think even some hard drive issues, which are just really hard to track down and correct. But hopefully my content will be a bit more steady in the future. Thanks for watching. If you guys want more Starcraft 2, if you guys like Diablo 3 and Skyrim, then please head on over to my channel at Mad Bag Gamer. See you later.